encryption is not the solution. Encryption is actually the problem. Let me explain. We have all these regulations that are being pushed out. And yes, even the United States, as I speak, finally, is looking at federal data protection law, right? Something that just about every other country on planet Earth and most other universes had. And the United States is so lagging behind that we don't have a federal level data privacy law. So even in the United States privacy law, and if you look at GDPR, and even if you look at all the other subsets of PII, PHI, and PCI, the problem is they're all focused on encryption. Encrypt, 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 encrypt. And that is actually the problem, because encryption doesn't protect our data. Think about it. What really protects our data? What really protects our data is not whether or not we encrypt it. It's whether or not we manage, control, and secure the keys. So encryption is the problem because we're not focused on the solution, which is key management. Why aren't we talking about key management? The regulations need to focus on the key and the management of those keys. How are they stored? How are they controlled? How are they managed? And think about that in any case. What good is having vaults at banks that store money if the combination to the safe was written on the outside of the vault? I have friends of mine, and I always joke with them when I go over their house for parties or events, and you might have these friends, and you're walking up to the house, and they have beautiful landscape, and you see that plastic fake rock. Like, seriously, do you really think that's fooling anybody? You might as well paint it orange and put flashing lights saying, robbers, enter here, right? It makes no sense. Yes, and I'm that guy where I will always go to the rock, I will take the key out of the rock, and I will hand it to them. And they're like, what's that? I'm like, that's your key. You're welcome. And they go, but Eric, what if we lock ourselves out of the house? I said, well, yeah, that's a problem. You should do a better job at key management. But saying that I'm going to lock myself out of the house and I don't want to do proper key management, so I'm going to store my key in the open so anybody can get access to it, is that really a solution? No. Let's just be honest here. That ain't the smartest thing to do, right? What's the point of locking your door if you're not going to secure or protect the key? And that's exactly what's happening with these data privacy laws. We're so focused on you must encrypt, and we're not focused on key management that what do you think everyone does? They fall short on the key management. The reason why we're having data breaches is not because the data is not encrypted. It's because they're using the same key and storing it plain text. There is a solution. And what I'm pushing is all these regulations shouldn't say you must do encryption. What it should say is you must do encryption with OTP, one-time pads, because now each record is encrypted with its own key, and each key is protected and secured. So we actually solve both problems. One, your keys are not publicly available, and two, you're not encrypting all the information with the same key. So even if an attacker gets a key with OTP, they get one record, not 50 million. So if we want to fix the problem, regulators need to stop saying encrypt, 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 and they need to start focusing in on key management and saying OTP, OTP, OTP.